remembering the victims of COVID, sharing the stories of their lives.
A lot of people say anyway, they have the best dad in the world, and I felt that way about him, of course. He was primarily a car salesman, but he also worked at the family farm, he and my uncle, his brother. He was a busy man, but he made time for all those ball games, so he was always there. So that's one thing both my brothers said. They remembered really well that he was always there in the stands with Mom, and so they've tried to do that for their own kids. Each of my brothers have 2 kids, and so he was the world's greatest grandpa too. So he took them for rides on the farm, on the tractors, and they adored him. A really young man, 20-some-year-old gentleman, moved into a house just a couple houses up from my parents, and my parents knew his great-grandmother who raised him. She was a family friend, and my dad had he worked in a retail setting where this young man did, where he was out late at night, didn't always get his yard work done. So Dad just noticed his yard was getting a little, long, and so he just, when he was on his riding mower, just drove it down to this young man's yard and mowed a portion of his yard for him. And these texts from the young man just thanking him for doing that. "You're a great guy. I can't believe you did that. Thank you so much." And I told my mom, I said, "Mom, you have to read this." And she goes, "Oh yeah, I told him if he started doing that, he was going to have to keep doing that." And Dad said, "No, that doesn't matter. I'm going to do it. He needs, he could use a little." When he and my brother decided to get out of the farming business about 5 years ago, they sold the farm and they took some of the proceeds and said, "Well, let's just take the whole family to Disney World." So we took a trip to Disney World, and kids, when the grandkids were in that perfect age for, appreciating Disney World here, and we're going to continue a memorial to Dad just at least every 2 years to do something of that nature as well.
Now, you said your mom and dad were in the COVID unit together.
When my mom was admitted, they wheeled her down into Dad's room to visit one day, and the doctor came in and saw them sitting there in their beds in their matching hospital gowns, and he snapped a photo. He took Dad's phone and said, "Can I snap you a photo of you two?" And so they did. And so yeah, we have that. That's one of our cherished memories now too, and it made its rounds through the hospital. My dad passed away on December 7th, and of course, because of COVID, we couldn't do any funeral services at the time. And mid-June, we finally felt comfortable enough to have a celebration of life at the local church where he was very, very much involved. Because for those 3 hours, there was a steady stream of community members who came in to, pay their respects to him. I loved him as my dad, and I knew him as my dad, of course, but I didn't know this other huge presence he had in the world. So that was a very eye-opening experience.